Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello, and welcome to today's episode of The Phone is Ringing at the Front Desk. Who could it be? Hello, and welcome to today's episode of STS. It is Tuesday, June 21st. I'm Renee Scavington. This is Tom Coppola. We are fresh off of our trip to Boston for the Eastern Parkour Championships, which is a qualifier for this year's NEPC. So first thing we're going to talk about is big takeaway from the event. What's the biggest thing that happened? What sticks in your mind? How did you feel about it?
It's hard to say. The biggest takeaway, Mish is still a monster. That's
Well, because he didn't place first in Beast Coast like
that was really
we all would have
surprising.
expected.
He came in second in Beast Coast, so that was a little surprising. But he pulled it through in Boston, and he decimated the competition when it came to the speed round, at least. But the skills round, it was pretty close. But
It was very competitive.
Yeah, it was a very
skills
competitive event. So, yeah, that was a big takeaway. And then when we're looking at style, man, Sean and Alfred, but Sean in particular just threw down. That guy is capable of some stuff that, he did two things that apparently have never been done on hard ground before.
Yeah.
So that, two firsts in competition, right? So that was interesting.
Well, in competition or just in training in general.
Yeah. Cool. So.
Yeah. So I guess we'll just start with skill then.
Skill. Okay.
Yeah. Start talking about skill. Qualifiers are the podium people that are moving on to NAPC. In third place for skill was Mike Arujo from New York and the Tribe.
Yeah.
And then second place went to, I'm drawing a blank here.
Seth Ruji.
Seth, okay, I thought it was
from Swift Movement.
I keep forgetting if he got second in skill or speed, so it was skill, because he also did very well in speed. He was close to podium.
He came in fifth in speed, but it's because he stumbled on a second course, but he still had a fast time. Very, very
unassuming.
Such an unassuming guy. Yeah, no, he's incredible. His
Facebook photo alone does not look like someone that would be throwing himself at massive jumps and things. Not to say anything about people that wear glasses or anything like that, but
dude has hops. And he's very skilled.
And also he seems to have pretty good mental too. Like he went for the 9 on the Dino Lâché.
Yeah.
He was the closest one to getting it. He was the one that went for it the most.
Because he was doing the dash with it, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I felt like if Frank and Max Henry had one more attempt,
right,
they would have been able to actually commit to the clear. But.
Yeah. And first place, of course, in skill was Mish.
Yes. Yeah.
Which
I can jump further than everyone toward the Rovic.
Which we didn't. He didn't win necessarily though because of that. Because the two challenges. Well, so he got a pretty high score on doing the second hardest Kong stride.
Yeah.
Which was kind of just more of a really complex route, not so much.
But he didn't do it as well as Seth did.
No.
Seth stuck it and held it. Mish had it was a rail precision ending, so he kind of went off balance and then pulled it in for just because he had to, right? Mm-hmm. So that was interesting.
And then the Lâché, he got the Lâché really clean.
The second hardest Lâché.
Yeah, hardest Lâché, and then Seth kind of blew all his chips on trying to get the hard. He did the 7, and then he went straight for the 9. And I think did he take 2 attempts at the 9?
Yes.
I think he slipped on one.
Yes.
Yeah. So
he slipped on that first one, which is unfortunate. And the second one, he went for the Lâché dash and just kind of bottomed down his dash and went forward and almost bailed pretty hard, but he saved himself pretty well.
Yeah, and then no one did the hardest Kong stride.
Yeah. Which Misha's the only one that had an attempt left to try it, and he went up to it and he was like, oh, it's possible.
Yeah, and that's all I was going for. What we're trying to do with these 9 challenges is make them super elite, make them challenges that only a few people can maybe complete. And I think Dylan was saying to me after the event that you're like, oh, it's doable, but it would take like a whole day to work on that one. But no one even practiced it. Like I didn't even see Mitch go up and practice it. He just tried to throw it during the comp.
Yeah, and maybe if he had practiced it, he would be able to get it. But I understand his strategy. He wanted to spend his practice time on things that he knew very confidently were possible and would have given him a good score, right? Because if he risked it and tried to take it to the 9 on the Kong, and just practice that the whole time, he would have wasted practice hours and or practice time, and ultimately might have come up short in the end. I think his focus was actually on that lache to the rail precision, because that was proving to be fairly difficult.
Yeah, he ended up scoring and spending most of his time on the 8 challenges, so the second hardest challenges. I guess we should explain a little bit too the skill events. We were ever changing kind of how we do skill events for our competitions, and we're going with. Or at least this time around, we went with all or nothing. We've had problems in the past with scoring and trying to just basically find common ground with judges to score these things with execution and an understanding of difficulty. So for this event, we just did all or nothing. There was 5 challenges that people could have competed, and you got a difficulty score from 5 to 9, and then you had 1 point for execution. Hopefully I'm explaining this correctly this time.
Yeah.
And you get scored for your best one. So you get 3 attempts on a combined, not combined, but challenges 5 through 9 on one skill, and then 5 through 9 on the other skill. You get 3 attempts on each skill. So it's not like you get to try each setup 3 times. You get 3 spread out. So there's a bit of strategy involved, but it made things exciting, I felt. Because it really came down to, I feel like it was really close. Like for some of the sticks too, like Mike and Mish Todorovic, Mike Rougeau and Mish Todorovic, their sticks on the Kong. It was like 2 feet, then 1 foot, then hands forward, then lean back and stick, and it just made it into like a nail biter for who was gonna walk away on the podium for that one. So.
Well, what's so cool about the event is that basically we start at the lowest level challenge. Anybody that wants to try that can try it, and then once they do their attempts, we move up to the next hardest challenge, and then the next hardest challenge, and we're always like raising the bar. And so by the end of it, the most talented, the most skilled athletes are around working on the hardest one. So it's basically de facto becomes a finals event, right? Which is really interesting to watch and to experience as a spectator and as a judge. And yeah, it was a very exciting event. I would have liked to see somebody get the 9 challenge on
either one.
On either one. Either one I would have been stoked on.
Well, didn't Davis do kind of just an exhibition swing on the Lache Clear Prix?
Yeah, he got it.
He got it?
Yeah.
I think
I missed it. I didn't get to see it.
I
was
turned away,
bummed.
so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, we get to move on to speed.
Yeah, speed.
Yep. Very quickly, we need to move on to speed.
Okay, so speed, 3rd place. 3rd place was, who was it? I just lost it. Oh, Sam Blattner from the Tribe. Yeah, he's a big jumper.
Well, there's that clip that Angie put out from the Facebook Live video of side to side him and Mish, and almost doing identical runs, and then basically I think there's a little part in the beginning where Mish is ahead, Sam catches up, and then at the end Mish, I think, manages to take like 1 less step and then shoots ahead. He was
able to so there's the end had like some strides going upward, and he was able to stay lower on them, whereas Sam was like treating them more like jumps.
Yeah, I think he put 2 feet on the last one.
Yes,
like it wasn't a stride, so there's a stop.
And then he also tried to do like the tack off the wall down, and Mish just jumped straight over to the finish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so
What did he
Sam's
say?
third.
What did he say to you after the event? He said, "I got to start training."
Yeah. So
Speed
he's like,
courses
I'm gonna
now."
start training speed courses.
And
now.
I mean, there's a difference. I mean, I think Mish definitely has competition experience for speed courses. He doesn't exclusively train for speed courses though. So, but I think that a lot of that came down to his experience. He just had the slightly cleaner run there. So
Yeah.
really cool.
Okay, so Sam was third.
Mm-hmm.
Second place was Davis from Hub. So he's a
How old
he's a
is
local.
Davis?
Davis is 19.
Yeah.
Well, Sam is 20.
Okay.
So I mean, we
So
got some young guns.
My
coming up.
prediction is
It's
soon coming into
Hey, you know
fruition.
what? I didn't think it would be this year. I figured it would be like in the years to follow. And then Mish, of course, was first place again. He consistently had like significantly faster times. Actually, more so in the second course than in the first course.
Well, he was the only one to break 11
Yeah.
in the second course.
Yeah, he got under 11 seconds, which is incredibly fast on that course. No, on the first course, nobody quite got under 11, but he was the closest. He was bummed because he was like, I wanted 10.
Yeah. And then we had CC Pacheco. Is that how you say her last name?
I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce it, but yeah, Cece came in first for the women's, and she got a qualifying spot for an EPC as well. And actually, did you see Angie? She posted another clip
Of the girls running.
all
So-
three girls
yes,
running.
CC was quite well ahead.
Yeah, she took the lead in the beginning, and then just like kept moving and just and didn't let them catch up. Yeah, I mean, it was you know, she definitely had the speed over them.
Cool. Not much else to say about it.
Yeah, I mean, the speed courses are exciting to watch. They're really fast. I mean, there's a couple flaws in our design. I think we could have cleaned them up a little bit better.
Yeah.
Particularly with that first course finish, which we talked about yesterday about the solution to that.
Yeah. It's actually Amos actually. That was probably the best criticism I got all day. Was just switching the last two flags on the last course, which we did. We were switching them around, trying to figure out how to make the run work a way that would be interesting. And that was kind of a last minute thing. That last flag, we were just like, oh, it's not going to work here. No, we have to just just put it down. Okay, tape it up, done. And then it ended up causing some awkward movement at the end, which I mean. In one way, you can say, like, no one ever gets upset about that. If you're kind of in a speed course and you're forced to a really awkward move, if anything, it's like, oh wow, I'm so used to moving one way, and you made me do this weird thing.
What was it that Amos said?
That's what he said. He's like, oh, you made me do this. Don't do this. That was really funny. I think a couple people like really stumbled there too. So it's kind of unfortunate because we got to see these really nice flowing runs, and then kind of right at the end there was this weird cut. Which Mish pulled off the best, but he still kind of like shoulder checked it. Just
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, now we know we need to just like try to run the course and see what it feels like, right?
Yeah.
We didn't get a chance to actually run those courses. I mean, partially because we were so rushed in putting it together, but I still think that overall the courses were really, really well put together and representative of what a speed course should look like. There's a couple features that I think we wish we could include more, but again, we're limited by what we were presented with when we got there. And Hub is a really cool gym. It's a little smaller. There's definitely some really cool features of it, but there was definitely some challenges when we got there when we're used to putting things together here at Origins that in my mind I'm like, oh well, we could just use a vault box. Oh no.
Straight up.
Yeah, so they do things a little bit differently there, and that's their thing. So
yeah, I thought there were some really cool features to particularly the speed courses because they have those boxes with like little nubs sticking out.
Yeah.
And more than one person used those during the speed course
to get a
which
little bit
was
of
there, but
stride
I just thought it ended up being like one of the faster things to do. It was like a really really complex stride for part of the courses. So yeah, it was it was fun setting up things there. I think they're doing some pretty good things out of Hub. They've only been open since January.
Yeah.
So
Super young gym. They're always like they asked at the end, they were like, anybody has feedback about the gym, let us know, we will build it and we will make it better. So they're definitely open to feedback, so that's cool. Let's move on to style. Let's wrap it up.
Yep.
So third place, Kyle Hudson, who I had never actually heard of before, and he has such a really unique style. Definitely different than any style person I've ever
He
seen.
opened up with that foot clap.
Yeah, he did like a jump, like straddle, like jump to like foot clap, and like it was like, what? Who does that? But he made it work really well. Like it was really interesting, and he definitely has a different vision. The way he sees things is very different from what most people think of in terms of what a style run would look like. His big move was I thought his like one-handed palm full. That was pretty impressive. I don't think I've really ever seen that. It was on flat. It wasn't it wasn't off of height or anything. So he stuck that like a mouse.
No, he's really clean. He didn't. There was nothing that he didn't really do clean.
Yeah.
The whole competition, like his combo line. Wasn't super well connected. I think he tried to do too many moves.
Yeah.
Which is kind of I don't know. It's like the course that we set up this time was a little bit different than what worked so well last time. The other thing is just people are used to that competition format. Like even after I explain at length, like, hey, you're trying to make sure you connect everything well together, and people are like, what's the time limit? And I'm thinking, why would you need a time limit if you're going nonstop?
Yeah.
if you're going
trying,
nonstop with transitions,
if you're trying to make your best line, there should be no concept of a time limit because
it's probably going to be very short. Because
it should be short. Like you can only do your best stuff for how much energy you have. If there's any moment where you stop to reset for something like that, then you've broken your line.
Yeah. We can no longer call it a line.
Yeah, you
we
can't
can call
it
it.
a line anymore.
We can call it doing moves in succession.
Yes.
To one another. We can no longer call it a line. I think it's. I don't know. It's something we're trying to push, and I think there's like a little bit of resistance to it with freestyle guys. They're so used to.
I think with a better designed course, we can get what we're looking for, and I think we saw it better at the Spring Classic, and we also saw it better at last year's NEPC. The lines that the course that we designed was better suited to get out of the athletes what we wanted to get out of. And there's still some people who maybe don't quite get it as much, but it's on us to do to make a really good course. And I think we learned a lot from this event, and moving forward, I think we're going to be able to produce better results. Second place.
The rest of the podium.
Second place was Alfred Scott.
Like a dozen people twisted Alfred's arm into competing.
I was talking to Alfred earlier in the week and trying to get him to compete, and he was like, "Oh yeah, okay, I guess I'll do it." And then like a couple days before, he's like, "You know what? No, I'm not gonna do it, because I'm gonna be training all day the day before, so I'll be tired, and I don't really like competition. It's like it makes me really anxious and this and that." And then he showed up on the day of, and like everybody just kind of talked him into it. Yeah. He's like, "All right, I'll do it." But he had a couple slip-ups in his combo. I feel like, we can't be too critical of him because, he wasn't expecting to compete and he ended up throwing down anyway.
Yeah, he was straight up telling me the day before, I trained so hard the day before.
Yeah, he said, I trained as hard as I possibly could. in the hopes that I would get stronger. And so he's like, yeah, I won't be able to do like the things that I would want to do. Like
He still did really cool stuff.
he did this massive side pre that was ridiculous, multiple times, like it was just doing a standing jump. It was incredible. But I was most impressed by his big move.
Yeah.
His big move was
it was funny, the reaction to that, because I think I was sitting down and I like fell out of my chair because he did it so clean. Like he told me what he was gonna do, but then a lot of the Boston guys, particularly the guys from Hub, had already seen him do that. So it was just kind of.
He did it a few times, like because he was planning on doing it during his combo. I think.
Yeah.
So I saw him do it already.
Yeah. But he came up to me before, and he was asking, what am I going to get more difficulty points for? Am I going to get more difficulty points for double flyaway and landing it super clean, or flyaway regrab double flyaway and putting my hands down double flyaway? And I said, you'll get more points for the second one because it's significantly harder.
Yeah.
But and then he didn't put his hands down. He just landed it.
No, he stuck it. Yeah. And like I was talking to him afterward, and he was like. Because he had done it one time before where he like put his hands down. He's like, I put my hands down like really hard, like, which, in the world of like doing tricks and things, if you put your hands down, it really doesn't count, right? So in his head, he's like, it doesn't fully count if I put my hands down. So that's why he asked you that question. Yeah. And afterward, he was like, after he did it and he stuck it like perfectly, he was like, oh yeah, like while I was in the air, I realized what I had to do to land it. Which is so cool to hear from an athlete that he's like figuring it out as he's doing it. And, Alfred
when it counted too.
When it counts, yeah. Alfred is a absolute freak. Just watched his new video, Dead Style, which is awesome. So I encourage you to watch that if you haven't seen it yet. Super incredible stuff.
I was watching with Gloria. She watched it this morning because I had shared it, and her comment was, "He moves like a little guy." Because she hadn't seen Alfred, she doesn't watch all the videos, right? Yeah. Typically only if I share something. Yeah. And she said he moves like a little guy, which I thought was funny.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like 6'1", maybe 6'2".
Yeah.
Like
he's not crazy tall, but he's really skinny, so he looks really tall on video.
Yeah.
And then first place we got Sean.
Sean Bautista.
Who has he been in competition before?
I've never seen him in competition. And
because he competes really well.
Oh yeah, he's the kind of guy where he'll do whatever it takes to get it done. And then he started having so much fun at the end that we couldn't get him to stop. Like, so with the big move, you get 3 attempts, and this is after 2 attempts at the combo. So like, this is the very end of the event. He already basically won. He won by doing his first big move, and then after that, he did 2 more. And so, his first combo I thought was like, he had a bunch of really cool ideas, and he just didn't quite set himself up the way he wanted to. Maybe with a little bit more practice, he could have gotten it done. But again, like I attributed a lot of it to faults on our end. But he had some really interesting ideas that I really wish he would have been able to execute the way he wanted to. But then. But the big move, that's where he pulled it all together. His first big move, nobody knew what he was gonna do. He was practicing. He just did a swing cast full and kind of bailed it, and then he had this like really concerned look on his face.
Yeah,
like
that was onto a mat.
Yeah, it was onto a mat.
Down. He was like, oh.
Yeah, he had a really concerned look on his face, and I was like, oh crap, like. I was like concerned for him because maybe he thought he would have been able to stick it and he would be able to just do that. And then, he moved the mat, and then he, like, set up on the other side of the bar.
First he was like, can I turn the music off?
Yeah.
He wanted it to be dead silent.
Yeah.
And then it felt like an eternity went by before he actually got up there.
The bar was a little wobbly, so I'm sitting there, like, holding the bar, and I'm like, I don't know what this guy's going to do. I thought he was going to do a swing cast full, but he's on the other side of the bar now. Jumps up to the bar and does a cast gainer onto hard ground, which has never been done before onto hard ground.
On like the shakiest
on the shakiest bar. And like, I'm talking to Alfred afterward, and Alfred's like, Like we were talking about, like
Yeah, I asked you because I only know so much about some of the moves that are coming out these days, right?
Yeah.
And Alfred, I see videos of him doing cast gainers on walls all the time, which to me seemed harder. But then he said to you,
Yeah, no, I just asked him, I was like, well, which is harder, on a bar or on a rail? And he said, a bar is significantly harder. Like, he stared me down and he was just like, no, he got so excited that I was asking this question because he's like, no. And then he explained exactly why. It's because of the position the bar puts you in. It's much sketchier. If you, like, you know, if you pull up the video that Sean posted on his Instagram, his head comes like this close to clipping the bar, which is so sketchy. But yeah, he pulled it through, landed it, and like it was incredible to see. I already said incredible like 5 times. His second move was also something that had never been done on hard ground. It was a hang cast full or a worm drop full, depending on whatever terminology you use.
from not a very high wall either. That
No.
thing was only like maybe 7.5 feet. I guess your feet are like only like off the ground by this much, I think, from the hang. It's not like it's not like he had tons of time to rotate and spin.
Yeah, no, he
did.
he did. He got it, and he pretty much stomped. I think he like touched his hand down a little bit, but like that was pretty cool to see. Yeah, and then I think his third move was, he had already won at this point, but he was just having fun. So he did 2-step wall gainer, but with a stall. But it was a little janky for, you know, compared to what I know his standard is. What an incredible event. I said it again.
We need new adjectives.
I'm reading out of the book of Giles.
There you go.
Okay, I think that'll call it for today. Unless you have anything else to mention.
I don't know. I don't have a phone right now.
Yeah.
I crushed my phone in Boston. Not training, just
brand new phone.
Just moving, like literally 4-day-old phone. Moving a structure with Dylan, and then he let go of it, and I didn't know he was letting go, and it crushed onto my leg, and my phone was in my pocket. So we were talking about like whether or not my phone actually stayed my legs. My leg's not too bad. There's like a little bit of a surface bruising, but phone is complete write-off.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on in the world of parkour right now. I only get to check Facebook on my computer every few hours. So if there's news we forgot about this week, apologize. I've been quite busy, quite sleep deprived, and without a phone, there's just no way I can keep up with the world.
So next competition is going to be the Western Parkour Championship. That's going to be held in Seattle at Waterfront Park outdoors. We're doing a speed event and a style event. So no skills this time, but it still should be very fun and very interesting.
Well, so we're talking about the young guns coming out. I'm sure Oliver is going to be at that one.
Oh yeah.
And maybe even David Rangel from NorCal. It'd be cool to see him at that one because he was third here, and we've kind of eliminated some of the competition at this point. So his chances of climbing up the podium are increasing.
Yeah. So if you're interested in that, you can register. I think you can go to sportparkourleague.com to find information for that. And we'll be also doing on-site qualifiers here before NAPC. That's going to be September 2nd, and then the actual event will be September 4th. So be on the lookout for all of the new competitions coming out this year.
Also freestyle online qualifier.
Yeah.
We'll be going back to the Instagram qualifiers like we did last year. Thought that was a lot of fun. We'll be trying to do some different things with that this year. So still chances to get in if you can't make it to any of the events. And hopefully we'll see you in Vancouver in September for the thing that we're doing with stuff.
The thing we're doing with the stuff.
I'm just we got so many new things we're bringing to it this year. So
it's going to be an exciting year.
This summer's going pretty quick. Anyways, last week I said see you next week. Can't guarantee we'll be doing another show next week, but we're going to do these as often as possible. So yeah, hopefully see you soon.
Cheers.
I'm just doing the double gun.